Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Little Hen says it's time to rock and roll.
All you people are so scared of me.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Man, that's just me.
I'm Batman.
This is Sparta!
There is a tiger in the bathroom!
I'm an excellent driver.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What have I to fear?
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Sort of like a team. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
Yes, I've met them.
Yeah. Takes us a while to get any traction, I'll give you that one.
Hello and welcome to this week's Monday Movie Show, to our cinema section. Coming up in this show we have some movie news, the UK box office top 10 and reviews of these new releases.
Horror, remake, reinvention, reimagining, whatever you want to call it. Evil Dead, Jared Butler, I'm not doing the impression. Jared Butler stars in action film Olympus Has Fallen. You have small little Australian horror film about a mutant shark in bait, and then a drama starring Matt Damon, again I'm not doing the impression, in Promised Land.
That was my co-host Stuart. I am Andrew. I'm hosting the cinema section. Stuart will be hosting the DVD section later on. We're here with you if you're listening to us live. Join us in the chat on the bottom right hand corner of the Spreaker webpage. A little red icon that you can see in there. Just click on that and it'll pop up for you. And we're here till roughly 9 o'clock with the latest movies and everything. So let's get started off straight into some movie news. Stuart, do you want to do yours first?
Yeah, because you kicked off last week. Universal Pictures have announced that cult 80s film Weird Science is set for a remake, with Joel Silver set to produce. The only thing known about the remake is that it will be written by Michael Bacall, who worked on the 21 Jump Street script, and he also, if you could call it a script, did the one for Project X.
Yeah, the only other thing that I know about this remake is that it's going to be awful. It's just going to be awful.
It's another one of those pointless remakes, isn't it?
It's just why mess with just the movies that are. I mean, it's, as much as it's not a great movie, it's one of those ones that you watch it now, it's still good. It's still it's stood the test of time. It doesn't need remaking. Go remake something that was crap and didn't do well in the cinema, because you know you can make it better. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can make Weird Science better, because a lot of the stuff in it won't be relative now.
No, Booger in the live chat says, who will be the woman?
I made a joke the other day on Twitter about it. They should get Kelly Brook in instead of Kelly LeBrock.
Very funny. I see what you did there. US Danny Dyer fan has joined us this week. Hello.
Hey, hi guys.
Right, next piece of news. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Transformers 4 will cast 4 of its roles through a Chinese reality TV series. 2 roles will go to contestants that have professional acting experience, while the other 2 will go to amateurs.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to comment on that one.
It's just them trying to reach out to the Chinese market, like what's happened previously with movies where they cut scenes or change scenes or add things to scenes. It's just them trying to reach out to the Chinese market, because they're saying, if we get some people do a reality TV program, people will be transfixed in this reality TV program. They'll build up the hype for Transformers 4 and it'll do really well. Yeah,
I mean, this problem is it's the way we're going to see things happening now, because I mean, G.I. Joe 2 took, what was it, 30 odd million. It's just about the same as what Oblivion's just taken its opening weekend in the States. So if a film does that in the China box office, they're going to definitely look at that as, it's a lucrative market, we better do whatever we can to make the money out of it.
Yeah, and pass on that. In a poll done by Star Magazine, Gwyneth Paltrow has been voted the most hated celebrity in Hollywood, beating Kristen Stewart into second place. Rounding out the top 5 was Jennifer Lopez at 3rd, singer John Mayer at 4th, and Katherine Heigl at number 5. Other entries in the top 10 included Madonna at number 7 and the nightmare child that everybody wants to punch, Justin Bieber, at 8.
I can't disagree with that.
What, that you want to punch the nightmare child, Justin Bieber, or Gwyneth Paltrow being the most hated celebrity in Hollywood?
Bieber. I don't know about the nightmare child, but just...
he is a nightmare child.
I can think of worse Nightmare Child, but no, I'm not. He is just annoyingly. Get him out of the spotlight, please.
Yeah, people in the live chat, who do you think is the most hated celebrity in Hollywood? Who would you rate as like the horriblest of the horrible?
Well, I didn't agree with it, but I thought the last person I heard it was Anne Hathaway, which I was surprised at hearing a couple of months ago, with all the success of Dark Knight Rises and then Les Mis. Who do I think is the most hated right now? Oh, God. Don't put me on the spot, why don't you?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question for people in the live chat while we're doing the show tonight. Just put in the live chat who you think is the most hated celebrity in Hollywood. Who would you vote for?
Yeah.
Over Gwyneth Paltrow.
I'll see who anyone else throws up, because I'm going to have to wimp out at the moment and say I can't think of it. It's like one of those things, tell me a joke, and you just can't think of a joke.
Yeah, exactly. And my last piece of news story is, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Iron Man 3 will be the first film in Japan to be shown in 4DX cinemas. 4DX will not only feature the 3D version of the film, but will also add tilting seats, wind, fog and odour effects to add an extra dimension. Tickets also are rumoured to cost around about $25 each. Because what they're doing is they're taking the price of a 2D ticket and a 3D ticket and melding them together.
It's too much. It's really too much. People complain about 3D being too much. I think this would just get as much complaint from people. And I mean, it's not going to become a regular thing in all cinemas, because they're not going to do that for all cinemas. They'll have special ones, but it'll be that is a fad. I mean, people say 3D's a fad. I get it is, but 5.1 surround's a fad.
I know that the company who has invented this 4DX stuff says that they're going to port it over to America, and they're trying to go and get it into 200 cinemas in America by 2015.
They're just going to kill the cinema trade altogether. Just do it and get it over with. Kill the whole thing off. People stop going to see films in the cinema.
Yeah, the thing is though, it's nothing new, because it's been done numerous amount of times before. In the 50s and 60s, they used to have horror films where they used to put shock pads on the seats, and you used to have wind machines and stuff.
There was the film with John Goodman that was about it. I can't remember. There was a Matinee. Was that the name of the film?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that all your news done there?
Yep.
Okay, a few quick ones from me. One of them was that Sylvester Stallone tweeted last week a slightly cryptic tweet, which got the internet all abuzz because of the fact of that the tweet was as reads: "Wesley Snipes is back with us." So, I mean, make of that what you will. A lot of people have been saying that means that Stallone's been looking at getting Snipes, who was recently released from prison after being convicted of, I think it was tax fraud. And now he's been released, makes him available for movie roles, and apparently then Stallone's going to get him in for Expendables 3.
I think he only meant it that he's out of prison.
Yeah.
Snipes is with us now. Hooray!
Well, I mean, it's been that, and there's been talk about potentially having Mel Gibson direct it, which got loads of negative backlash. So if either of them is going to happen, it'll be the Sylvester Stallone one, and it'll be the Wesley Snipes one, and not the Mel Gibson one.
Yeah, just to go back on my last news story, there's a lot of hate in the live chat for 4DX.
Are we surprised? Not really.
Nope.
Universal Pictures has officially announced that Fast and Furious 7 will be released in cinemas on July 11th, 2014. Only a year away, despite the fact that Fast and Furious 6 hasn't yet been released, and that filming on the 7th movie hasn't even started. At one point, there was possibility that the 6th and 7th movies will be filmed back-to-back with director Justin Lin helming both movies, but that didn't happen. And the new movie will apparently be directed by Insidious director James Wan.
Yeah, they should have filmed a back-to-back. That would have been the smartest thing to do, rather than doing what they're doing now. If James Wan does get the directing job of it, he's going to have to do a pretty rushed job. It's not a very... Considering what the Fast and the Furious now, they've been building up action set pieces and they seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So if you want the 7th one to outdo the 6th one, and he's only got less than a year to do it in, it's going to be a really difficult thing.
I mean, it's the thing as well with that that you have. The issue is with making any film, an average time you're looking at for a film, at least 2 years from page to screen from it going from film from that to the cinema to being released. And I mean, a year is ridiculous. The only thing I can think is that if they were at one point going to talk about doing 6 and 7 together, then they may already have the script finished and the shooting script ready to go for the 7th one, which would mean then they have saved about a year's worth of time, because that's how long it takes to get a script going. But it's still a rush job, a year to get it all filmed, edited, post-production, any effects and everything like that, because that means they've got to make deals with any effects houses and then get it done, distribution and out and ready for release, which is, that's a hard target.
Yeah, it is. And Slater and Booger in the live chat seem to be agreeing with each other, saying please no more Fast and Furious films. So I'm guessing they're not much of a fan of them.
No, they're good. I mean, I loved them all except for the second one. And the 4th and the 5th one were brilliant, kind of two-parter, because they were two films that were linked together. And apparently, from what I've heard about 6 and 7, the two of them will be together as well. So I mean, I can, as long as it's as good as 5, I'm up for it. My last piece of news is that Thor and Avengers actor Tom Hiddleston's in talks to star in the reboot of The Crow in the main character of Eric Draven. The original 1994 movie, which starred Brandon Lee in the movie and in the title role, unfortunately saw him being shot fatally on the set while it was being filmed. This version of the movie at the moment is apparently in discussions for the Falls. I can't pronounce names. Xavier Gutierrez.
Yeah, why not?
Apparently, he is in talks to be directing, but nothing has been signed or deal or anything made at the moment.
Yeah, US Danny Dyer fan says in the live chat this morning, I heard James McAvoy has been considered. Yeah, he was originally considered for the role. That was a little while back when they announced that they were doing a remake.
That was before. That was before. He was in talks at one point. They were mentioning him before Bradley Cooper and Mark Wahlberg, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And both of them have since fallen through as well. So, I mean, Tom Hiddleston. Someone did a mock-up thing of him, and he apparently did a test screening with a mobile phone, a video phone from mobile phone. Make of that what you will, but that is the news for this week.
Going quickly back on the most hated celebrity in the US, Booger said Schwarzenegger.
No.
And he just liked the word hate, so disliked.
Dislike, yeah. Okay, fair enough on the dislike, but not Schwarzenegger, no.
Just go on to box office top 10.
Yeah. I mean, out of the big three, Planet Hollywood 3, Bruce Willis is probably the most disliked one out after the performance and the thing of Die Hard 5, but we won't get onto that because we'll be talking about it the whole show. Top 10 in the UK box office, starting number 10 with The Host.
Yeah, I think me and Andy was a bit split on this movie. He gave it a much more positive review of The Host than me. I just found it absolutely mind-numbingly boring. Considering that it's got the talents of Saoirse Ronan and Andrew Niccol in the directing chair, and it's also written by Stephanie Meyer, who did the Twilight series, and even though the Twilight series is for a specific group, it did its job. This is just a boring movie where very little happens in it, and no wonder it hasn't stayed in the top 10 for very long.
No, I mean, I have to say, actually, I think it stayed in the top 10 a lot longer than I thought after everyone's been giving it that much of a negative backlash. So I think it's done better than it could have done, to be honest. Number 9 is Dark Skies.
Yeah, which I felt, it's a decent enough film. When I went through the box office top 10 on Following the Nerd, I says they need to start elevating these decent ghost stories to a bit more of a higher state than what they are. They are good films, but they need to be better films than what they are. And there is a few decent scares in the movie, but it's nothing overly special.
Slater in the live chat's just kind of linked in with horror films, suggesting a celebrity to be disliked. Paris Hilton.
I agree with him on that.
House of Wax.
She's horrible in House of Wax. She was also in that film where she played a person going up against an ugly girl, isn't there, or something? I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was one of the most slated films of the year it came out.
Although, if you ever watch the show Supernatural,
no.
There's an episode where she appears not as herself, but as someone impersonating her, like someone pretending to be her, and it's actually a really good, funny cameo and she's not bad in it. She's only in it for like 5 minutes, so she's at the level of kind of Ricky Gervais, kind of being able to survive that, but no more. So quite good.
Just a quick hello to Menace as well. Another person in the live chat there.
Hey, welcome, Menace. So number 8. I don't think you've seen this one yet. Trance.
My cinema decided to take it out when I was just about to go and see it, so I have not got a chance to see it.
Typical. It's one of those films that I think it's struggled a little bit because of the type of film it is. James McAvoy is a arts dealer in the film who works at an auction house, who is involved in the heist of a particular piece of art, but then gets a knock on the head and can't remember what he did with it. So his cohorts, led by Vincent Cassel, take him to see a psychotherapist, hypnotist, who then will try and help him recover his memory of it. And it's a really twisty, turny film, which had me going. I really enjoyed it, but if you were watching it for the first 2/3 of it, you would be really kind of annoyed and go, "What's going on?" And then the end of it is really where it all works. So it's one of those films you have to persevere with. I think a lot of people have maybe had problems with it because of that, but I really liked it, and it's Danny Boyle doing what Danny Boyle does. Number 7, Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, I think we said it about as much as we can about Oz the Great and Powerful. It's a good film. It's not to the heights of The Wizard of Oz, but it's a good film anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get that a lot of people haven't liked it that much. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it's one of the movies that you should see in 3D. So if you got the chance and you want to see it, go and see it at the cinema while it's still showing in a few, and see the 3D version of it's on, because I think it's one of the ones that's the best 3D around. Number 6, Jack the Giant Slayer, which I think you haven't seen this.
Not seen it.
Yeah, you've been lucky enough because it's not brilliant. It's Bryan Singer's. I think it may be even Brian. I would maybe even say it's Bryan Singer's most disappointing film for me. It just nothing really happens for the first half of it, and then when things start to kick off, and you just kind of don't care. The characters aren't especially interesting. Nicholas Hoult is okay in it, but I don't know that he's necessarily great for the leading role in it. Ewan McGregor's kind of wasted, and you kind of wonder what he's doing most of the time in the film, and it just doesn't work. And the effects for the giants didn't work at all. Number 5, this will be a good one for you. G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Absolutely rubbish. Even though I found the first G.I. Joe film a guilty pleasure, this is just boring. It's a boring action film where there's a couple of set pieces in it that just don't flow very well at all, and as I've always said, giving The Rock a leading role where he has to do something serious rather than action scenes is just a stupid idea.
Number 4, The Place Beyond the Pines, which
my cinema decided to show a week later than when it was released.
Yes, so did my local one. It's a film that it's really good. It is overly long. It's about 2 hours 20 minutes long, and it could have had 1/3 of it completely cut off at the start, and it would have worked better. Ryan Gosling's fantastic in it. Bradley Cooper is the real star shine out of it. I was completely blown away by him, even better than he did in Silver Linings Playbook, and he's turning out to be a great actor. Number 3, Scary Movie 5.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to gloss over that one really quickly, because Scary Movie 5 is an atrocious movie. The trailers that they keep on showing for Scary Movie 5 is the bit between both. You
mean Charlie Sheen and?
Yeah, the Charlie Sheen trailer. Yeah, that's actually at the end of the film, right at the end after the credits. You get something at the end of the film. That's what you see in the trailer on TV.
Although the bit with the door isn't even in the film.
Yeah, the bit with the door is not even in the film. The whole film is just horrible. Yeah. People in the cinema that I went to see it was just laughing their heads off, and I was thinking, yeah, you're the dumbest people in the world. It is Sunderland, I know that, but they are the dumbest people in the world.
You're going to end up getting hate now.
I don't care. If people in Sunderland listen to the show, do me a favour, walk into a door, because that's what you're good for.
Okay, number 2, The Croods, which is a really good animation. I liked it more than Rise of the Guardians, which is a similar DreamWorks animation. Good voice performances, especially considering it's Nicolas Cage, who isn't annoying in it. And Ryan Reynolds as well is perfectly fun in it too. I just really enjoyed it, and it's funny as hell, and the 3D is really good too. Which means the number 1 movie in the UK box office is Oblivion.
which I know you liked it more than I did. You've
Yeah.
been to see it more a couple of times. I've only seen it once. I felt the first half an hour of the film was the best thing about the movie. The relationship between Tom Cruise's character and Andrea Riseborough's character. I think that was just really well handled. It looks really nice as well, and the score is the best I've heard this year. I can't stop listening to the score, just like yourself. I just felt like once it got to one of the secrets of the movie involving Morgan Freeman's character and the crash landing of Olga Kurylenko's character, I just felt it started to become a bit more of a pastiche movie, and it lost its sort of like originality, and it lost its weir.
I think that Olga Kurylenko's character is possibly the weakest character in the film. Maybe even slightly weaker than Morgan Freeman's one, who isn't in it as much. But I really love this film. The look of it's amazing. I went and saw it again, you're right, but I went and saw it in the IMAX version, because the IMAX version is slightly different. They actually made it a bigger screen. And I mean that they made the aspect ratio bigger so you can see more of the world. The visuals on it look amazing in the IMAX. And if you've got a chance, I'm telling you now, anyone go and see it, because you've got 2 more days after today to see it before Iron Man's out, and then it's just going to get pushed out of all the IMAX screens. And it's, trust me, amazing experience in IMAX. That is the
just one quick thing about Andrea Riseborough. She reminded me a lot of Bishop from Aliens. The more I was thinking about it, the more robotic her character is, but it's not like robotic like you would see just normal robot. It's a sort of like a one with feelings. She just felt really robotic, like she was fully controlled. And I'm not going to. There is a spoiler there somewhere, but I'm not spoiling it.
No, I thought she was perfectly fine there. I mean, I think that there's nothing. I think it's all. You have like a point of a raised level of how good or how bad a film is. I don't think there's anything in this film that's particularly bad. And also, again, we should mention as well, we love the soundtrack as well.
Yeah, for the second time there.
Yeah, let's go on though into our first review of this evening.
Yep, it's for Evil Dead, the remake, reboot, whatever. Fede Alvarez, who's the director of it, he says it's a reimagining. If you watch it, you would actually see it's a remake. And what Fede Alvarez has done is decided to make this very serious. Because he's turned around and said in numerous interviews that he's had a conversation with Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi has wrote the script for this along with Bruce Campbell, and they both have got a production credit on the film. He said that Sam Raimi's always said that the original Evil Dead was a serious film, when Sam Raimi has always said it's a comedy. And so what Fede Alvarez has decided to do is decided to take this down a serious route. He's changed a few things about it. Instead of it being centered around a male character, Ash, which is in the original, this centers around Mia, who's played by Jane Levy, and she's got a drug addiction. She's relapsed quite a few times. Her friends try to help her quite a few times. And their last resort is to take her to her cabin, this cabin in the woods, which was owned by her family. Her brother tags along as well. She hasn't seen her brother for a while. For the first 20 minutes of the film, it's just them trying to get her into the cabin, calm her down, sort of like say that you're staying here. We are going to keep you here until you are clean. She is relapsing really badly. Within the first hour, she wants to go back home. So much so that when she gets locked into her bedroom, she steals the keys from one of the cars. She hijacks the car. She ends up crashing the car when she sees a girl in the middle of the road in the forest. And it starts to flow on from there, where you get a scene which involves something, a remake from the original. While this is happening, a horrible smell is found in the basement of the cabin itself. They discover a room where they find lots of animals hanging from the ceiling, and also a book that's been wrapped in barbed wire and in black bin liners. One of the friends decides to open this book up, Eric, played by Lou Taylor Pucci, and you can see in big, huge, massive red lettering, not to read from it. Evidently, he does decide to read from it, and all hell just breaks loose from there on in. Here's a clip.
Listen, you gotta get out of those clothes.
You have to get me out of here.
Look, nobody said this is gonna be easy.
You don't understand. There was something in the woods, David. And
Yeah, if anybody had their volume turned up loud there, you probably have just crapped yourself, to be honest, because there was a big, massive, loud noise at the end of that clip. And as I said, all hell breaks loose, literally. The thing with the Evil Dead remake, if you've watched the Red Band trailer, there was a Red Band trailer for the film, you'll have seen all the gory bits of the movie in the Red Band trailer. The scene where the girl, she cuts off her hand, her arm. There's just the bit where one of the other girls, she ends up cutting into her face with the glass. And all of these things that happen in the movie is actually in the book. It's not mentioned as the Necronomicon. It's all the Book of the Dead in any way, shape or form. It doesn't even have the face on the front like the original Evil Dead book. It's just this book which is made from skin. And everything that happens in the film, it's sort of like in the book, and you're thinking to yourself, why hasn't Eric decided to just read through the book and just say to them straight away, stop, we need to get out of here now, because bad things are going to happen, and evidently bad things do happen. The problem with Evil Dead, though, is it just doesn't have the feel of the original. It doesn't have the ingenuity of the original. There isn't any quips in it. There isn't any comedy elements. It's just a straightforward horror. If you've watched the trailer, you're just going to find the movie a bit diluted, to be honest. There are very few scares in the movie. It's extremely gory, but it just lost a little bit of oomph and what I was expecting. Stay after the credits. There's something after the credits. And the last 15 minutes of the movie is absolutely insane. And that's the way the film should have been, like the last 15 minutes. You can also read my review up on the site on mondaymovieshow.co.uk, which is one of the first reviews I've written up for quite a while.
I'm going to see this, but I have a question for you about that. Because the first one, the original ones are sort of funny and that. So if I'm just, because I hear this one is incredibly gory, in like
insanely
torture
gory.
porn, in like a torture porn sort of thing. Does that mean I'm not going to find this interesting at all?
If you don't find it's not a torture porn film, but it's insanely gory. There are some really nasty scenes in the movie. But just watch the trailer. If you can sit through the trailer, get through the Red Band trailer, then you should easily be able to get through this film.
Okay. Also released this week is Olympus Has Fallen, which is directed by Anton Fuqua. It's a die-hard film in the White House in Washington DC. You've got Gerard Butler in the movie playing Mike Banning, who is a Secret Service agent who is on the president's detail. At the start of the movie, they're in Camp David and they're driving to a dinner somewhere with the president and his family. President played by Aaron Eckhart, president's wife played by Ashley Judd, and you also got the president's son as well, who asked to go in a different car with Mike. So he's then basically just travelling with them. The president's limo then has an accident on snowy and ice, in bad weather, ends up hanging off the edge of a bridge, which Mike then manages to save the president, but doesn't manage to save the president's wife, who dies as the car goes over the edge. That's not a spoiler, because that is the first 5 minutes of the film. You have then the film cuts to 18 months later. Banning is kind of in the president's bad books because he let the president's wife die and save the president. So because of that, he's been taken off the president's detail, and this is working a job at the Treasury as part of normal sort of Secret Service duties. He's dying to get back on Presidential Protection Service, but he's not able to because he's in the bad books. What happens is then that there is an attack that happens on the White House. I won't give away any real details, but it's a sort of a 10-15 minute action sequence involving, if you've seen the trailers, you see there's a big massive gunship attacking Washington. And it ends up that Mike is one of the only people to actually make it there and to get inside the White House when this has all happened. All hell breaks loose outside. The people in charge are then put Morgan Freeman's character, who is now the acting president, in charge. And they're organising, trying to figure out what's going on, when they get a call from Banning, who's on the president's satellite phone. Here's a clip.
We have contact from inside the White House. Trace confirms it's the president's sat phone.
Put it through.
Mr. President?
Negative.
Identify yourself.
Echelon 4.
It's one of yours?
Designator.
Oscar Zulu 309er.
Jesus, Banning? Where are you?
In the Oval Office. There's the president in the bunker. Can we trust him?
Banning was one of our best agents.
Mr. Speaker, I just have to say, this is Mike Banning. Is this the same guy that was removed from the president's detail after the accident where we lost the first lady?
Well, what's he doing in the White House I suggest you get the facts
How do we know
straight.
we can trust this guy?
Banning is ex-Special Forces, Ranger Battalion. He will move mountains or die trying. I know him.
Does anyone else in this room have any intelligence coming out of the White House? And we have no choice.
Yes, the president's in the bunker. He's being held hostage.
What do they want?
We're trying to find out.
Well, who's in charge?
Trumbull, are there any survivors with you?
Negative, sir. They wiped us out.
So, I mean, it's then up to Banning to then go and rescue the president, essentially, in a Die Hard in the White House movie. That's what it is. That is essentially what it is. It's a Die Hard clone. You know what you're going to get with this kind of movie. It's not brilliant. There are problems with it. It's really entertaining in parts. It's fun. But if you're going into it expecting it to be really well written and really great and have a real sort of brain-twisting plot or anything like that coming up, you're not going to get what you're wanting. It's an action film. And it's a well-directed action film for the most part. As I said, there's it is about 15 minutes long, action sequence with the whole attack on the White House, and it does really work really well. It's really nicely done. But then you've got the thing of that. Then you've got Gerard Butler taking centre stage in the film and controlling things and doing things, while outside everyone is doing their best impersonation of everyone from all the other Air Force One, Under Siege especially. I felt at points this film was just taking everything from Under Siege and just redoing it so it's in the White House instead of on a ship. And I mean, you've got Angela Bassett's in there, as you heard in the clip, who is playing the head of Secret Service. She's perfectly fine in it. Morgan Freeman is doing the Morgan Freeman thing, but not like he really cares. And you've also got in there, you have Robert Forster, who turns up and literally got a laugh when he turned up on the screen because it's just like, oh wow, here we go. So make of it what you will. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was bad. It's better than the last two Die Hard films, and it deserves the title Die Hard more than those. But you have to go into it expecting that, otherwise you're going to walk out and go, that was rubbish.
Yeah, it's just a mindless action film, because I knew what I was going to watch anyway when I went to see it. I wanted to go and see a film where I didn't need my brain, and I left my brain with the popcorn vendor. I went in and sat down and enjoyed the 2 hours that it's on for. It doesn't even feel like it's on for 2 hours. It's on for 2 hours, and I think it's probably Antoine Fuqua's most straightforward film as well, considering he's done films like Training Day and Tease of the Sun and Shooter.
Tell me, though, is it not just one of the most predictable Die Hard clones that there is? I mean, you've got there is a list of things that you could write down that happen in a Die Hard film, and you'd be ticking them all off one after the other.
It's extremely predictable, but it's not aiming to be anything more than what it is. It's not trying to be like an extremely brainy film. It knows its boundaries. It knows that it's a brain-dead action film, and for the 2 hours that it's on, it does that. The special effects are awful. They are really, really horrendous, to be honest.
Well, that's not all of them. Some of them are. The AC-31 gunship bit, I thought that was perfectly fine. I didn't have any problem with that. The helicopter bits later on, I thought were really bad.
Yeah, on the Washington Monument as well. Oh, it reminds you of like a direct-to-DVD.
No, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah, but at least he can get his special effects right. The special effects in this is just awful. But it's a brain-dead action film which does what it exactly says on the tin. It's the Ron seal of films.
Yeah.
There are other varnishes out there.
Okay.
I had to do that. Right, I'll quickly go on to Be It 3D. I'm surprised this actually got a cinema release in 3D.
I'm surprised it got a release near you.
Yeah, it got a release near me, which just shocked me. But it's directed by Kimball Rendell, and it's about a tidal wave which hits a town in Queensland. It floods this huge, massive shopping mall where Julian McMahon's character, because he's in it, he plays this guy who tries to rob this store. This store gets flooded from this tidal wave that crash lands into the store. And then there's two big, huge, massive sharks gone amok inside this store, and they need to survive. That's the crux of the film. It's in 3D. The 3D is awful. Honestly, the 3D. The reason why the 3D is awful, because like with Olympus Has Fallen, the special effects are horrendous. They are really horrendous. The shark is a CGI shark. I would rather have a rubber shark from Jaws than the CGI shark that's in this film. So it goes for the typical kind of 3D things where a stick might come flying at the screen, or a bit of blood might come flying at the screen, or an eyeball or something like that. It's that annoying 3D rather than the 3D that you like, where it gives a depth to the film. Like I said, it's got Julian McMahon in it. It's just really badly acted. I know I was speaking to somebody on Twitter who said it's a bit of a fun film, but he has a slight fetish for sharks. I'll not say who it is, but Andy knows him as well. And it's sad that he's got a slight fetish for sharks. But if you like shark films, you might enjoy it slightly. It's just because the film is in a compact little area in a shopping, not even in a shopping centre, it's just in one part of the shopping centre. The 3D was just useless. It's beyond useless. And it's a bit of a crap film, to be honest. Which you'll be actually reviewing it next week because it's released on DVD over here, so you can watch it to review on DVD.
Oh, God. I'll have to try and see if I can get the 3D version. If I can get the Blu-ray to watch the 3D. Is it getting a 3D Blu-ray release, you know?
Yes, it's getting a 3D Blu-ray release and DVD, standard DVD release.
Okay, Promised Land, I'm going to do quickly, which is the new film from Gus Van Sant. It stars Matt Damon as a guy who works for a natural gas company. What it is with him at the start of the movie, him and his working partner, played by Frances McDormand, are sent to this small town where they've basically been sent. It's a little sort of out-of-the-way community, farming community, where they've been sent to go and sign up all the people who own land for being able to open up wells on their property to drill down and do the kind of controversial drilling form for fuel, for gas, which is known as fracking. It's a whole thing about when they get to the town there, and they have these people who sort of query things with them, and the whole thing of that they are then brought to a town meeting where everyone is there talking, and is approached by one of the people played by Hal Holbrook. Here's a clip.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Mr.
Yates. My name is Frank Yates.
Mr. Yates, are you with an environmental group?
No.
No. Well, what line of work are you in, sir?
I'm a teacher at the high school.
A teacher?
I teach science. What about you, Mr.
Okay, yeah, well, I deserve that. Steve Butler is my name. I'm a consultant here with Global. I only caught the tail end of what you were saying, but you seem like someone who's done his homework. Could I ask you, though, where'd you get your information?
Mr. Butler, you and I both know the information I've been talking about is vast and detailed.
You're probably right. I'm not the guy with all the answers.
Oh, well, then you'd be the perfect guy for them to send here to deny everything.
So you have this thing of that when he's in the town, he then starts to have these questions. He starts to get to know people in the town. Him and Frances McDormand's character try to kind of endear themselves to the people of the town by doing things like she goes to a karaoke night and tries to kind of make a bit of a fool of herself. Matt Damon is there and he has basically a drunk night with a whole bunch of people and gets to know them. Things seem to be sort of going their way when this guy turns up, played by... I don't have his name, I'm going to have to look it up. Played by basically another character who comes in who is a environmentalist who drives into town and starts basically butting heads with him, saying, "Oh, this is bad. This shouldn't be done because of this." He comes in with photos of other towns where fracking has been done and shows that it can be dangerous. That there's sort of photos of dead cows in fields and such, and the effect that this mining technique has on the local wildlife and the local environment. And it's about then the two sort of parties butting head, trying to win over this town a bit. And all the time, Matt Damon's in character starting to question his sort of beliefs in his job and his work. Now, the thing is with this, it is a Gus Van Sant film. So you have these long sequences where he's just there with people talking and not much happening. It's quite well shot. It's quite visually not bad for it's not a big movie, it's kind of a small movie, but it looks big. There's these weird sort of big aerial shots where it's high up above cars as they're traveling, which reminded me of some things like Zodiac. David Fincher's Zodiac has shots of cars just from above. It's kind of similar to that, but out in a countryside and rural setting. Matt Damon gives a really good performance in this, but aside from that, there's not a lot else going for this film. He's kind of playing this guy who has these issues from his past that are affecting how he thinks and how he views things, while at the time this is being questioned, and so he's kind of having this sort of crisis of conscience sort of thing going on, and it's all down to him. So if you like a good movie with a decent performance, see it for Matt Damon's performance. Otherwise, don't see it the whole thing of fracking and such, because it's not really got much information on that. You won't get anything from that, but it is a good performance piece. That's basically it for this week's cinema section. Coming up in the DVD section shortly, we'll be going through some movies there, and we'll be back on Spreaker in just a moment with that.